All right, let's talk about 3 things you can do to enhance your cunning. So let's talk about what cunning is in the first place. If you look in the dictionary, they'll define it as using deceit or deception to get one's own goals or the end state. And normally that's probably like a bad connotation and negative. We don't want to use deceit and deception in our everyday life. But you know what? When it's a dangerous situation, when it's life or death, especially mine, someone's trying to hurt me, you better believe I'm going to use every trick in the book I have. Hey, if you ain't cheating, you ain't trying. So let's talk about 3 things you can do to start enhancing your cunning right now. So the biggest problem I have when people come to me to get trained in the behavior analysis and situational awareness is that everyone wants to take information at face value. You're walking around all day, every day, and there's tons of information flying around your head at any given moment. And a lot of times when we see something that could be dangerous or maybe alarming, oftentimes we'll take it at face value and then we'll start to explain it away. Oh, that's weird behavior. That guy's probably just A, B, and C. And we start filling in the blank. So that's the first thing you need to do is stop filling in the blank. That's if you see some type of strange behavior, that's the other person's job to explain away that, to explain what they're doing. So if you like Game of Thrones, you'll love this method. Littlefinger has a game that he plays, and his game that he plays is he likes to play everyone's worst motive. So anytime he works with anybody in that show, he always thinks about what their worst motive could be, and then he plans from there.
Cut his throat.
Wait. Let's discuss this.
That's not a good way to go about life, but I kind of see where he's going with it. So instead of thinking that about everybody, because that's just being paranoid, if you ever observe someone or some type of behavior that kind of pops up on your Richter scale and you went, that's funny, I want you to start formulating some questions in your head that if you had to contact that person, you can ask them. What are the questions? I'm not sure. They're going to be based on your context, but what I need you to do is like Littlefinger, I need you to dig a little bit more, okay? 3 layers deep. All you got to do is ask a question that's 3 layers deep under what they're telling you, and oftentimes things start to fall apart if they're being deceptive or they're lying to you. Why is that? Well, think about it. A terrorist, a criminal, some bad person, oftentimes they're thinking about their plan. They're amped up themselves to physically conduct their crime or plan or whatever it is, but they often don't really think about or plan about their cover story. If I talk to someone and I can get 3 or 4 layers deep under their cover story, usually things start to fall apart. If you don't remember Richard Reed, the shoe bomber from so many years ago, he tried to smuggle a plane on the bomb using his shoe, all right? And he actually got caught before he even had the bomb with him by savvy airport security people who were asking him specific questions like, hey, why are you flying to this foreign country? Oh, I'm going there for work. What work? IT. Okay, if you're flying to a different country for IT work, what's the one thing you'd think you'd have with you? Probably a computer. He did not have a computer with him, okay? So that's one. How are you going to get, where you staying when you get there? Oh, this hotel. Which hotel? Nah, not sure yet. How are you going to get from the airport to the hotel? Oh, my friend Avi's going to take me. What's Avi's last name? I don't know. What's his phone number? I don't know.
Is this your bag, sir?
Yes, it is.
We'll have to hand check it.
I don't even own a mess. I don't know where that came from. I've never seen that stuff in my life.
So do we have enough layers there to go, okay, maybe we have a problem here. So don't take things at face value and try to dig 3 layers deep. Remember Littlefinger, we don't want to be paranoid like him all day long, but when you have an ability to question someone being strange, try to go 3 layers deep and things start to fall apart. Another thing you can do to really enhance your cunning right now is just realize that your brain is one of the fastest computing things on the face of this earth. There's no computers that can even touch the processing power of your brain, okay? Within your brain, you have fear centers, a limbic system specifically, that's only job is to keep you alive based on what you're seeing and feeling. That's its only job, is to keep you breathing, all right? But what happens in modern times, because we live in much more polite society now, we have technology and all other things to make us nice and comfy and give us warm and fuzzies, we start to not listen to that limbic system, all right? And that's when people really get in trouble. This situation will kill you. It's called going into denial. This will kill you absolutely. And when you see people getting into situations they can't handle or they do goofy things, they're in denial. They never mentally prepared themselves. On top of that, not only do you have this limbic system, but you have these senses, all these senses that you can utilize. And most people just look at mainly sight. Obviously, we're always watching things, so it's mainly we focus on sight, but there's so much more out there. Smell and hearing and taste, you can definitely gather information from that. You probably remember that incident a few years back, where 3 service members were getting on a train in Paris, France. They're getting on the train, they're having a good time, they're going to go have a vacation or whatever. And the one Air Force veteran, I believe he was an Air Force veteran, he was waiting in line for the bathroom, and he hears a distinctive sound of an AK charging. That's a very distinctive sound, and he hears that.
This is the AK-47 assault rifle, the preferred weapon of your enemy. And it makes a distinctive sound when fired at you, so remember it.
And what does he do? He doesn't ask a friend. He doesn't get on the phone. He goes, that sounds like an AK bolt. He waits for that door to open, and then he just proceeds to waffle stomp the dude that came out of there. And sure enough, he had an AK. And the only thing he picked up on was that AK sound. Why is that? Because he'd had experience firing AK, so it was real distinct, and he knew that. So don't discount all the other senses and smells out there. Think about smell. Your nose, where is it located? It's closest to your brain. So it has basically a direct line to your brain. Have you ever been somewhere you're walking around, you smell a perfume or a cologne or a lotion, and boom, all of a sudden it takes you back 20 years to a certain party or a situation? That smell ability is very visceral within your brain, so pay attention to that stuff. I had an individual fire chief who went out on a fire call one time. So this fire chief's in that house. These guys are blazing away at the hallway trying to get the fire tamped down. This was a reported kitchen fire. So they fight their way into this kitchen area, and the fire chief's sitting there with all the guys while he's hosing it down. He doesn't know what happened. He just got this bad gut feeling, and he said, "Everyone get out right now." And they start running out of the house, and basically as the last person gets out of the house, the entire floor falls down into the basement in a raging, screaming inferno. And they talked to this fire chief. He saved a lot of lives that day, and they asked him, like, what was going through your head? Why'd you make that call? And initially he couldn't even say why. He's like, I have no idea. I just got a bad gut feeling, and I started yelling. And after thinking about it for a while, he knew, based off his life experience with fires, he goes, it was supposed to be a kitchen fire. In my experience, kitchen fires are very loud and crackly, and there's grease and fuel and whatnot. And I wasn't smelling or hearing any of that stuff. They're very loud. And he goes, this one was pretty subdued. It was kind of tame with, fairly tame rolling smoke. Okay. So his brain had already figured it out. His brain went A plus B plus C. You know what? The last time that happened, it was a bad day. And his brain made the call and said, everyone get the heck out. You have these abilities inherent in you, but most people just forget about all these senses we have. So understand, your brain is super smart, and you have multiple senses, not just sight, that you can observe information from. And the final way to enhance your cunning is basically learn from other people's mistakes. There's a whole lot of people out there that have been shot and killed and hurt that don't have the ability to learn from those mistakes. But now, with the advent of technology, everyone's got a camera in their hand nowadays. Heck, I'm shooting this video right now on a phone with a camera. So we have all this video footage of people getting in trouble and bad things happening to people, and that's really sad, but you can absolutely learn from those events. We can watch these goofy CCTV camera footage and go, wow, oh my God, that person's acting crazy. I can't believe they did that. When in reality, you're going to be the person in that situation. So as you're watching it, stop making fun of these people.
All you fucking want, bro? You think you fuck?
Making decisions in life or death situations and saying, okay, what can I learn? How can I not get shot or hurt or killed based off what happened to that poor person? We can absolutely learn from this stuff, because there's a lot of people that had to pay in blood to learn some of these lessons. I'm a big old cowboy fan. I used to read those books, the Louis L'Amour books, where they go out there and the cowboys and Indians. And it really hit me one time where they're following one lone cowboy out in Indian country. It's very dangerous terrain. People go out there and they don't come back. And his whole thing is like, yeah, people say that because people don't know what they're getting into and they don't know how to survive out here. So what he does is they have this final scene where he's bedding down for the night with his horse. He builds a fire, cooks his food, has his little beans or whatever. Then he puts the fire out, okay? When he puts the fire out and it goes dark in that valley he's in, he grabs everything up, he cleans up all his gear, he loads his horse up, and he slowly makes his way about a half mile away, and he gets up on a cut up on a hill, and he gets into a position where he can watch his layup area where that fire was, okay? Think about that. If I'm a bad guy and I'm following this guy, what's my plan? I'm not going to go after him at daytime. I'm just going to wait till he beds down and find his fire and attack him when he's sleeping. and wasn't going to happen to this cowboy. He'd seen that a time or two. Okay, how did he learn that? Okay, how did he odds are he probably didn't survive an attack like that. Probably they went out and found a whole bunch of dead bodies at an area where they slept right where their campfire is, and they got killed by somebody or something, and he learned, and he went, okay, guess what I'm not going to do the next time I start a fire in the middle of bad country, right? So these are just 3 simple things you can do right now to start enhancing your cunning, start telling that story. Remember, there's tons of behavioral information flying around your head at any given moment. And it's not rocket science to understand and disrupt violence. It's not rocket science, but it's also not common sense. It takes someone to take your head and show you and go, look, okay? But once that person shows you, then you can never unsee this stuff. And that's when it starts to get really fun.